National Electrical Code Section 620.22 mandates a dedicated branch circuit for elevator car air conditioning equipment. This requirement exists even if the elevator car is not equipped with air conditioning, and there is no immediate plan to install it. This seemingly counterintuitive rule stems from earlier code versions, particularly the 1999 code, which some jurisdictions have adopted or based their local codes upon. The purpose behind this requirement is to ensure that if air conditioning is added to the elevator car in the future, a dedicated and appropriately sized circuit will already be in place to handle the load. This prevents the need for potentially disruptive and costly electrical upgrades at a later date. A dedicated branch circuit must be rated for a minimum of 15 amps at 120 volts. It is important to understand the specific wording of Section 620.22 in the adopted code edition to ensure compliance. The code mandates that the circuit serve no other loads. The reason for the dedicated circuit is to prevent overloading the circuit due to the unpredictable nature of elevator air conditioning equipment. Elevators typically utilize specialized air conditioning systems designed to withstand the unique operating conditions of an elevator car, including frequent starts and stops, varying passenger loads, and potential exposure to vibration. Such systems may draw significant current upon startup, potentially causing voltage drops or tripping circuit breakers if other loads are connected to the same circuit. Providing a dedicated circuit ensures that the air conditioning system has a stable and reliable power supply, minimizing the risk of malfunctions or disruptions to elevator service. The requirement for a dedicated branch circuit is not contingent on the presence of existing air conditioning equipment. Even if the elevator car is initially installed without air conditioning, the dedicated circuit must still be provided. This is because the code anticipates the possibility of future upgrades or modifications to the elevator system. By requiring the dedicated circuit from the outset, the code ensures that the electrical infrastructure is prepared for the addition of air conditioning without requiring extensive rewiring or modifications. It is essential to consult with a qualified electrical contractor to ensure that the dedicated branch circuit is installed in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. The contractor will be able to properly size the wiring, select the appropriate overcurrent protection devices, and ensure that the circuit is properly grounded. Furthermore, the contractor can verify that the installation meets all local requirements and that the necessary permits and inspections are obtained. In situations where there is uncertainty regarding the interpretation or application of the code, it is advisable to seek clarification from the local electrical inspector or building official. These authorities are responsible for enforcing the code and can provide guidance on how to comply with its requirements. They may also be able to provide interpretations of specific code sections or offer alternative solutions that meet the intent of the code. Ignoring this requirement can lead to several potential consequences. Firstly, it can result in a failed inspection, delaying the project and requiring costly rework. Secondly, it can create a safety hazard by overloading existing circuits or compromising the reliability of the electrical system. Thirdly, it can violate building codes, potentially leading to fines or other penalties. Therefore, it is essential to prioritize compliance with Section 620.22 and ensure that the dedicated branch circuit is properly installed. In conclusion, while it may seem unnecessary to provide a dedicated branch circuit for elevator car air conditioning when no such equipment is present, it is a mandatory requirement in many jurisdictions due to the adoption of older code editions. This requirement ensures that the electrical infrastructure is prepared for future upgrades and that the air conditioning system, when installed, will have a dedicated and reliable power supply. Compliance with this requirement is essential to ensure safety, avoid code violations, and prevent costly rework. It is important to consult with qualified professionals and local authorities to ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. The 15 amps 120 volts rating is a minimum, and local amendments or specific equipment requirements may necessitate a larger circuit. Always refer to the specific code edition adopted by the local jurisdiction. The reason a 15 amp circuit is specified is due to the minimum amperage rating needed to handle potential air conditioning units in elevator cars. The 120 volts is a common voltage for smaller air conditioning units. Consider also the voltage drop over the length of the wire run to the elevator car, and ensure the wire gauge is sufficient to maintain adequate voltage at the air conditioning unit. This may necessitate a larger wire gauge than what would typically be used for a 15 amp circuit over a shorter distance. Remember that the code is intended to ensure electrical safety and proper operation of equipment. In this case, even if air conditioning is not currently installed, the dedicated circuit is required for future use. Always consult with a qualified electrical contractor to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. If the local code has adopted a more recent edition of the National Electrical Code, the requirements may differ slightly. Therefore, it is crucial to consult the specific code edition in force in the jurisdiction. Newer code editions may have revised or clarified certain requirements, or they may have introduced new provisions related to elevator electrical systems. By consulting the relevant code edition, it can be determined whether the dedicated branch circuit requirement still applies and whether any additional requirements must be met. In addition to the National Electrical Code, local jurisdictions may have their own amendments or supplemental regulations that affect elevator electrical installation. These local requirements may be more stringent than the national code or may address specific conditions or concerns within the jurisdiction. It is essential to research and comply with all applicable local requirements to ensure that the installation meets all legal and regulatory standards. The electrical contractor should be familiar with both the National Electrical Code and any local amendments or supplemental regulations. They can ensure that the installation is performed in accordance with all applicable requirements and that the necessary permits and inspections are obtained. By working with a qualified and experienced electrical contractor, potential code violations and safety hazards can be avoided. Finally, remember to properly label the dedicated branch circuit at the electrical panel. This labeling should clearly indicate that the circuit is for elevator car air conditioning. This will help prevent accidental overloading of the circuit by other loads and will also assist future electricians in identifying the circuit if any maintenance or modifications are required. Proper labeling is an important aspect of electrical safety and can help prevent accidents or injuries. In summary, the requirement for a dedicated branch circuit for elevator car air conditioning is a crucial aspect of electrical safety and code compliance. Even if air conditioning is not currently installed, the dedicated circuit must be provided to ensure that the electrical infrastructure is prepared for future upgrades. It is essential to consult with qualified professionals and local authorities to ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your elevator electrical system is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable standards.